points, a tremendous great crash. Phil Crump, Billy Sanders, Ivan Major, Scott Autry, Chris Morton, John Bolger, and of course the notable omission, Ollie Olsen, reigning world champion, no score yet. So the line-up for heat number 9. On the inside, Louis, 3 points. Next to him, Michenek, leader after 2, starts with 6. In grid 3, Phil Crump from Australia on 4. And on the outside, Peter Collins, England, on 3. So all these 4 riders looking for points, looking perhaps for the title, looking for a world final place. Heat 9, and Michenek lucky to get away with it. The tape stretch, they use very strong elastic here at Empire Stadium. Very lucky to get away with that one. They come back into line again. Heat 9 lead. Michenek, Crump, Collins, and this time it's Crump displaying ducks and brakes. And again it's Crump. Come on, lads, settle down. And they're away this time. And it's Crump and Collins around the outside. And Louis on the inside. Louis has missed the corner completely. Crump leads. Michenek comes through on the inside. And that was an absolutely torrid first corner. Collins going around the outside of Michenek in the second place. In tigering style. Collins goes now chasing after Phil Crump. Crump leads it. Now Collins has gone right in. And this is vintage Speedway for Peter Collins. Absolutely pretty to watch around the outside of 2 of the greatest riders in the world. And now this big crowd at Wembley Stadium are looking towards John Louis. He's at the back. And can he get through for England? He's got an awful lot to do now. There's Collins. In white, it's Crump. In third place, it's Michenek. And Louis once again is last. We pause for breath at Wembley and wonder if there has ever been such a dramatic Speedway event on television anywhere in the world. Peter Collins in absolutely beautiful form. Whoever said that whoever gets out of the gate wins at Speedway? Because Peter Collins just threw that theory straight out of the window with 2 phenomenal pieces of overtaking. Heat number 11 coming to the line with 3 of the competitors very much in line for the title and a place in the world final in Katowice. On the inside, Chris Morton, 4 points from England. Next to him, Ivan Major, 4 points from New Zealand. Grid 3, Billy Sanders, 4 points. On the outside, Soren Schotten. The inside grid's the one to watch. Major, the old fox, has made the jump in second place. It is Morton in third place. In white, it's Sanders. Then Ivan Major, the galloping Major. Whenever he gets the sniff of the world title in his nostrils, he goes like a lone dog. Made a colossal start from grid 3. Chris Morton, this young man going very, very wide around the outside. And he's going to do him, and he's done him in the most beautiful piece of cornering. Morton went outside Ivan Major as though he was stood still. And that really was another superb piece of Speedway. Barry Briggs, this young man has come on a ton, has he? And Ivan's really struggling now.
Yeah, fantastic, Dave. I think the day that young Morton saw Peter Collins whipping around the outside down in the first corner, and he's done exactly the same to Ivan, and boy, he's going to be a threat in the final, let alone tonight.
Well, of course, they both ride for Bellevue up there at the Zoological Gardens. This is Chris Morton in front. The Bellevue contingent here will love this win as he goes into the pits corner for the last time. Ivan Major has kept going. He's not going to catch him. 3 points for Morton, 2 for Major. In third place it was Sanders, and another tremendous piece of Speedway action. Super stuff. Well, there we have a portrait of a worried man. Ollie Olsen, reigning world champion, coming out for his 3rd start, and he has absolutely got to get points here. He's had an exclusion, he's had an engine failure, he has got no points at all. Barry Briggs, you've won this world title 4 times. What must be going through Ollie's mind now? Number 13 on his back too.
He's reacted under pressure like this before, Dave, but I'm sure he'd much rather have a couple of points under his belt, but everything's against it, but I think Ollie's going to rise to the occasion. I hope so anyhow.
So there is the lineup. Ollie Olsen, no points, the sensation of this Intercontinental Championship at Wembley. Next to him, Ben Pearson on 1 in the blue helmet. Scott Autry from the America looking for a final place for the first time. He has 4 points. They won't get much change out of him. And on the outside, Malcolm Simmons has 3 points from England, so he must get points here in Heat 12. Heat 12, a crucial one in this 76th Intercontinental final, a crucial one for the world final hopes and aspirations, certainly of Ollie Olsen on the inside, and almost certainly of Malcolm Simmons and Scott Autry. Let's watch it and see who makes the jump. The outside ones have been important. Heat 12, and away they go, and it's Simmons and Autry, and Olsen in third. Olsen didn't make anything like the sort of start he would have wanted to. Simmons place. Malcolm Simmons is a mile in front of Olsen, and Autry's coming very hard back. You can just see on the right-hand side of your picture, Autry has gone powering underneath Danny Persson, and Person's going right out onto the wire fencing at Wembley as Malcolm Simmons, number 7, gets another 3 points for sure. Just one more lap to go. Olsen has 2 points. Autry, after some mechanical bother on the first lap when he was very well placed, has come back into 3rd place, so that 1 point quite important to him. 3 points for Simmons unless something very silly happens. Olsen, a shadow of the man who won the world title, 40-50 lengths back in 2nd place. Autry is 3rd. There's Simmons, number 7. He gets 3 points there. That's very, very useful. Takes him up into joint 2nd place, actually. Olsen has 2 and 2 races left to cling on to his world crown. Barry Briggs, Ollie has got an awful lot to do now, mate.
Yes, he's had bad luck tonight, but he had a bit of luck then. Autry got a little bit of strife, and that gave Ollie 1 more point that he looked as though he mightn't have had, but 2 points out of 3 rides, Dave. Very, very hard going now.
3 rides apiece, that's the situation of the 8 men at this moment who have a place at Katowice in mind. Joint leaders on 7 points. Chris Morton, what a surprise packet. Anders Michnik, 7 points each. Then a great big bundle on 6 points. Phil Crump, Australia. Doug Wire of England. Ivan Major, New Zealand. John Bolger, Australia. Malcolm Simmons and Peter Collins, and 1 or 2 notable omissions there. Heat 13, and the action comes straight back in with a great big custard pie wallop, because we have 3 riders here on 6 points. That means to say they're jointly in 2nd place. You can see them there on the inside. Malcolm Simmons, 6 points. Next to him, John Bolger, 6 points. Trevor Gear, the supplementary reserve, comes in white to replace Søren Sjøsted in engine problems and difficulties in the pits. And on the outside, Phil Crump from Australia, in yellow and black there, the caption just a little bit awry. Phil Crump on the outside in yellow and black, he has 6 points as well. So Simmons, Bolger and Crump, grids 1, 2 and 4, the ones to watch in Heat 13. They're all in with a shout at the title and for a world title place. And it's Simmons from the inside and Crump from the outside. And Simmons leads round the first corner, coming under very hard into 2nd place. No, Bolger hasn't quite got up. So Simmons leads for England in 2nd place. It's Crump. In 3rd place it's Bolger. And these are the 3 that Heat 13 is really all about. Malcolm Simmons has 6 points. Just 1 behind the leader. A little bit unlucky for the reigning British champion, because he was very well placed in his 2nd ride when an engine failure really played to his chances. But he hasn't really made any mistakes in this Heat 13. Barry Briggs, Malcolm Simmons, great stylist, great rider. Doesn't seem to be in much trouble now, does he?
No, he's very smooth. Now he's looking for the qualification points, and then he'll be afterward trying to still win the meeting, Dave.
So Malcolm Simmons going over the line for his last lap of this Heat number 13, his 4th ride. We rather reckon that something like 7 points, 8 points would be sufficient to absolutely guarantee a world final place. The way things have happened, that might not be so, but Malcolm Simmons is going over the line. He gets 3, that takes him up onto 9. Phil Crump gets 2, that's him onto 8. Bolger gets 1 point onto 7, so well, maybe those 3 riders are going to be on their way on the plane to the world final in Poland in September, and Malcolm Simmons still very much in with a shout at this Intercontinental title. So here we go for Heat 14, and there's Ole Olsen in the blue helmet. 4 laps, possibly the most crucial of his Speedway career, certainly the most crucial of his 1976 season to date, because he has 2 points, he has 2 starts left. He really must win this one, and he really has absolutely white-hot opposition in Heat number 14, because he's got the 2 young Englishmen from Bellevue, Manchester. Chris Morton in white, the co-leader. What a apple cart merchant surprise packet. Chris Morton in grid 3 in white. Peter Collins on 6 points on the outside grid. The outside grids have proved perhaps consistently the more faster on the evening racing. Dag Globus on the inside from Norway, unfortunately out of the chase. Olsen, though, with absolutely everything to do in Heat 14. He must have a win here if he really thinks he's going to stay in with a shout on his own world title in 76. Heat 14, let's watch Olsen in grid 2, Morton in grid 3, Collins on the outside. This start is going to be so vital, and it's Olsen who pushes on, and Olsen this time, and Olsen has made a good start, but it's Morton that's gone from grid 3. Morton has got away, These boys from Bellevue like the wide open spaces, and this time on he does it on this top corner. Collins leads, Olsen is second, and he's now going after Peter Collins, and Collins has held him off, and now Morton's coming on the inside. This has been superb Speedway as they go over the line. 4 absolutely absorbing laps of world-class Speedway. Collins has won it. Olsen has 2 more points, taking him on to 4. Is that going to be enough? Morton has 1, taking him on to 8. And now this Intercontinental final still absolutely yawning wide open. The lineup then for Heat 15, Anders Michnik on the inside on 7 points. Billy Sanders from Australia on 5 in blue. He's in grid 2. In the third place grid 3, it's Scott Autry in trouble. On the outside, Doug Wire from England on 6 points. And it's interesting, the outside grid, yellow, that's the grid number 4, to date has scored 23 points and a long way in front of the other 3 inside grids. So let's watch Wire on the outside, and he hasn't made very much of a start. They're absolutely bunched up together as they go to this first corner, and it's the rider in white, Scott Autry, who leads. In second place it's Michnik. In third place it's Sanders, and on the outside it's Wire going right around the outside, and Doug Wire from England and Sheffield moves up into second place there in the most colossal piece of cornering. Wire is second, now Michnik comes out and very nearly clips him on that top corner. It's Autry who leads, it's Wire in second place, it's Michnik third, and at the back it is Sanders, and they're really getting into a traffic jam at the back. We're having some tremendous Speedway racing at Wembley in this Intercontinental final. Still though, Autry and Wire and Michnik in trouble, and it really is all happening here. The commentators having to earn his money tonight because they're popping and bopping about all over the place. And now it's Billy Sanders who's moved up into third place to challenge Wire. And Sanders from Ipswich and Australia going round the boards. And Wire moves across to cover him. Remember, it's Autry a long way in front. Autry from America. Wire's in second place. Sanders is going right round the outside. He isn't quite going to make it as they go over the line. And there are 4 laps of supersonic Speedway. Anders Michnik, the man who was leading at the halfway stage, is last. Scott Autry on a borrowed bike wins it. We have Doug Wire in second place, and the scores are getting towards a colossal jam-up for places in Poland, and the Speedway is something out of this world. Well, after 4 rides each, it could hardly be tighter at the top. 3 co-leaders, Malcolm Simmons, Peter Collins, Ivan Major, surprisingly up in the pitch of the Galloping Major on 9 apiece. Then a cluster of lads on 8 points. Phil Crump from Australia, Doug Wire, Chris Morton from England, Scott Autry from America, and then battling for that vital last place in the world final, John Bolger, Australia, Anders Michnik, both on 7. So here we go, Heat 18, the one that could settle the Intercontinental title for 1976, and what a surprising, upset-ridden championship chase it's been. Major on the inside, Simmons on grid 3, the ones to watch. What is crucial start, and it's Major. Major has made the jump, and Michnik from the outside. Michnik with a colossal start from the outside. He had to do something here, and now Simmons tries the outside, boldly having a look to find a bit of air and to find a bit of space around the outside of Major. And Simmons has pulled a tremendous wheelie. Michnik leads. Michnik leads. Major is second going around the outside. Simmons has lost a lot of ground, and Major has gone around the outside of Michnik as though he is stood still. And now Simmons is going under Michnik. He's taken him right out onto the boards. Absolutely no mercy, but Ivan Major's a long way clear. The old campaigner really has done just enough. He's come through at the right moment, and he really is riding absolutely superbly well. He was an absolute disaster in the World Pairs, a lot of mechanical trouble there, but when it's down to this individual title, Major is in a class of his own, and now he is roaring away with Heat 18. This could be the one that wins it for him. Beautiful style, number 9 on his back. He goes over the line. That means that Major has 12 points. He moves up into the lead. Simmons now has 11. He's short of a place in the world final. Major could still win this title as well. Those are the 2 that it was all about. And Barry Briggs, Ivan Major has done just enough when it's counted once again.
Yes, he looked a little bit sluggish to start with, but now he's settled down. He's understood all the grips around the outside, and he passed Mitch. Great.
And so we come into Heat 20, and number 11 on his back, Peter Collins in the white helmet. his last race of this Intercontinental final, and a most important one for him, because a win here will take him up onto 12 points into a runoff for the title with 4 times world champion Ivan Major. There we've got Doug Wyer, you can just see in the red helmet with those tassel Buffalo Bill sleeves on his leathers. Doug Wyer from Sheffield, he's on 8 points, so he just needs to score here to be sure of a place in the world final in Katowice. But Collins is the man to watch in Grid 3 in the white helmet. Peter Collins on 9 points. Didn't score in his first ride. He's reeled off 3 straight wins. And he's got some pretty stiff opposition too. We've got a late change here, Trevor Gear. Trevor Gear comes in blue, replacing Soren Stoss, and the captain not quite keeping up with the track staff here at Wembley. On the inside then, Doug Wyer from England on 8 points. Next to him, Trevor Gear, the supplementary reserve. In Grid 3, Collins looking for a win. And on the outside person, and it's Wyer and Collins together for England. Wyer moving out mid-track as Collins goes round the outside in beautiful style. Lovely piece of cornering. Collins leads, Wyer is second. This, if they stay like this, will take Peter Collins into a runoff for the title, and certainly will ensure Doug Wyer in second place on the spot in the world final, his first world final in Katowice. But it's Collins who leads Heat 20. In third place it's Bernie Persson in yellow and black. He's well out of contention. And as they move into the third lap, it's good for England this, because we've got Collins up front. He'll be battling it out for the title with Ivan Major if he can just stay like this for once. Another lap and a quarter. Wyer going very, very well on that pit corner. Coming back across. Doug Wyer, of course, one of the successors of the English Lions down under. A little bit unfashionable, hasn't really been accepted at this level, but I'm quite sure that Speedway promoters all over the world will sit up and take notice that he's going to make a world final. Over the line, Collins wins it, Wyer is second. In third place it's Persson. They're going to have a run-off for first place. It looks like we're going to have a run-off for second place. And it looks like we're going to have a run-off for the final place in the world final. What an intercontinental event this has been like. Run-offs all the way, and we've still got a lot of super speedway ahead. And so as an almost subtropical night falls here at Wembley Stadium, this is a situation with all the riders having completed their 5 allotted rides in the Intercontinental final. Still lots to race for though. Ivan Major and Peter Collins tying up top on 12 points. Run off for first place. Phil Crump and Malcolm Simmons tying for third place on 11 points, run off there. Then we've got Doug Wyer, Chris Morton, Scott Autry, all assured of one of those places in the world final in Katowice in September. But a run off for the last place on 8 points each between John Louis and Anders Michenek. What a way to end an Intercontinental final. The last place in Katowice. Michenek on the inside, an old hand in these runoffs we remember so very well. His dramatic runoff with Peter Collins in the Daily Mirror World Team Cup tournament here just a couple of years ago when he knocked Collins off and was excluded. We wonder what's going to happen. There's little love lost between these two as they come into line with the last place in the world final at stake, and Michenek has made the start, and Louis come across, and Louis is going to be taken very, very wide indeed, but he's gone round the outside, and although Michenek moved out, Louis rode a superbly brave first corner. He got round the outside, our lights have blown, the boosters have blown here at Wembley, but John Louis hasn't blown, and now Michenek goes wide round the outside. They know where the grip is, and we really have got a match race on our hands. We're on the second lap now. Michenek hasn't given up, but Louis is now stretching away, he's easing in front. He's on the third lap, he's on the first corner, he's gone out mid-track, he locks back, he's come down this back straight under our commentary position. He's 30 lengths up on Anders Michenek, and it looks like we're going to have a fifth Englishman in this world final. Barry Briggs, how long has it been since we haven't had a Swede in the world final?
Oh, it's a long, long time now, Dave, and John's stretching his lead, so Mitch is definitely out of it, and just John's got to keep motoring on as long as this is the one where you hear your engine hoping that it's going to last a distance, and there it is, John's made it.
Just listen to that crowd. They love it, they've invaded the greyhound track. Tremendous following for Tiger Louis. They've come on, it's all very good natured though. They're on the dog track. They're saluting Louis, and Louis has really made them bite their fingernails tonight. He's won a couple, he's finished stone last, but now he's through to the world final. And so the runoff for this Intercontinental title, sponsored of course by the Sunday Mirror. On the left-hand side there, Ivan Major, the old campaigner, 4 times world title holder. He's in red on the outside. His young opponent from Bellevue, Manchester in England, Peter Collins in the white helmet. Runoff, first place. Collins inside in the lighter coloured helmet. Major on the outside. Here we go this time, and it's Collins who's got away. And there's absolutely no doubt at all who the crowd want to win. They're all pro-Collins. It's been a good night for England, and this could put the cherry on the cake. We've got all 5 Englishmen through to the world final, and unless Peter Collins does something absolutely idiotic, he's going to take the title, and he's gone very wide there. But Ivan Major's got back 10, 15 lengths. He's coming creeping down the curve there as Collins goes wide, but I don't think Peter Collins is going to make any mistakes now. Barry Briggs, can Ivan possibly get up?
Ivan's going really hard down the line, Dave, which is a bit unusual, but he's pulled a bit of ground back on Peter, but Peter's opened the gap up a little bit again, but Ivan's not completely finished, but I'd put my money on this stage of the race on Peter.
So let's just watch Peter Collins around this last lap, which will take him to the Intercontinental title, unless Ivan Major can possibly close the gap. Ivan hasn't given up at all. Just watch Peter go round. He's one of his heroes. He lays back over the right. He goes over the line. We have an English Intercontinental champion, Peter Collins, number 11 on his back, but number 1 in the West. Peter Collins from Bellevue, England, wins the Intercontinental title after a truly incredible night's racing at Wembley Stadium.
So there's the final result from Wembley. The 8 qualifiers that went through to Katowice were Peter Collins, Ivan Major, Phil Crump, Malcolm Simmons, Chris Morton, Dougie Wire, Scott Audrey and John Louis there, grabbing the final qualifying place after that runoff with Anders Michenek. 1 or 2, of course, shock non-qualifiers. One of those was, of course, Ole Olsen.
Well, Ole Olsen, no longer world champion. It must be a pretty sickening night for you. Ole, what went wrong?
Well, I don't really know. I think a lot of things went wrong. That first race was very unfair, an exclusion on that. And the trouble is that you go here and there's so many different riders, and you know, you get nervous. All the riders are getting nervous when the referee don't have full command over the meeting, which he never had. They were roll starting and they were getting flies off the gate and everything and all that. And I mean, it does not say anywhere in the FIM code that you can exclude a rider. If he feels it was an unfair start, he should have stopped in an all-4 rider set. I mean, I'm only on a normal 2-valve engine, which means that, you know, they got a bit more pulling power than mine, and he bowled straight into the back of me. I mean, after I made the gate. Can't see how that can be my fault. And then my bike seized then in the second run. It's very disappointing to be out of the World Speedway Championship. Then on the other hand, I don't feel too bad, because I know why. I mean, you can't race a referee and 16 boys, you know.
Ollie, I think the world final will be a worse place without you. Bad luck, mate. We look forward to seeing you in the long track final.
Thanks, Dave.
Miasto w chmurach,